Welcome to the Dumpster Fire Project, a podcast that memorializes the fantastic and oftentimes catastrophic entrepreneurial journey of two unremarkable middle-aged men. Welcome back to special episode number 4. On this episode, for the very first time, we have a guest. We know you guys are probably getting tired of listening to Murray and I talk, so we brought in an expert, Megan Mooney. Megan is the Director of Communications for a mid-sized municipal government organization by day and owner-operator of Mooney Marketing Strategies, LLC by night. We had a great conversation with Megan about using social media for marketing and even touched on armpit detoxes. That's right. I think this is going to be one of our best episodes so far. I think you're really going to take some value out of our conversation with Megan. So without further ado, Murray, pick up that microphone.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Dumpster Fire Project. This is another special episode. We're still in the middle of the COVID-19 epidemic. We hope everyone's staying healthy, practicing social distancing, and most importantly, supporting one another. It's another special episode because this is our very first one that we have a guest on. So Eric and I are going to try and tighten up and hold it together a little bit and act a little more professional. Eric, you want to do the honors of introducing our guest?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad that one of us is going to keep it together, Murray. So, yes, I'm very happy and excited to introduce Megan. What's up, Megan?
Hello, how are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for joining us. You got a drink there?
Yes, I do. I mean, we're talking about being professional now, and I just poured my next glass of wine, and I came on here hoping it wasn't going to be too professional.
Don't worry. It'll go downhill from here.
Yeah, you came to the right place.
Awesome.
All right, so we wanted to get some guests on the podcast specifically during the epidemic. Eric and I are very, very green, even though I've got a little more time into it than Eric. Nothing solid enough to where we can speak to being directly impacted. And that's why Megan's here. Just talk us through what her side hustle is, how she's being impacted. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you have a day job, but we'll get into all that. So go ahead, take it away. Just give us a little bit of background and we'll go from there.
Yes, so Eric and I know each other from working at the city together. He is our deputy city attorney, right, Eric?
That's right.
And then I want to make sure it was the right term, deputy. And then I am our communications director. So communications is marketing, public relations, public information, which in terms of government is making sure the public understands and knows of different information, that whether it was regarding ordinances or upcoming events, those kinds of things related to our local government, municipality. So Director of Communications, I like to say that I got the job because I was the candidate who talked the most, and they were like, okay, just give her the position so that she'll quit talking finally, and I won out. So
Nice.
That's the day job. And then my side hustle is my own public relations business. So I've done anything from helping people create statements for their own kind of crises that they're going through, or managing their social media and creating videos for that, or introducing a new product or service that they're adding to their business. So it's all of those things. I love it all. I like the challenge more of it all, of anything, than out of all the elements of the business. And I love kind of campaign work, and right now we're in COVID-19. I love crisis work. So that kind of management too. I'm like, oh, as terrible as it is to be in this, as great as it is going to be to relax and not have this in our face all the time, I'm like, it's also testing skills, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah. Megan, how long have you been doing the side hustle for?
So I've been doing that. It just reached a year in June. And so it's been things where it's been local, not local work, website design, all that good stuff, breweries, cleaning companies, construction companies, different industries and different things that each one needed. So
how did you build your pipeline and actually have people there? Were you already talking to these people before you started your LLC, or walk us through that?
So, okay, you both have your own day jobs and your side hustles. So, I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me, my day job, I'd already established a lot of myself as a professional and also my own brand. And of course, I've always been, being the millennial that I am, conscious of that when it comes to like social media and different things and different elements. So I think that doing that, but then also, I'm sorry, my dogs are barking now. So
No, completely fine. We always keep it real here.
and so so I've now I'm all losing my train of thought. So yes, I had a lot going, but also I did a lot of volunteer work in college and then also in my, this young adult career area that I'm in now. And so doing all that volunteer work and things that just genuinely mattered to me and where I felt a purpose in a place where I can make a positive difference for them, that I think also helps because you make all those different connections and they get to see how you work in those and like handle different things. So yeah.
That's awesome. I am on here a lot talking about how important networking is, and so it's nice to hear somebody reconfirm that. So did you have to make a conscious decision to get in this, or it sounds like it almost just fell in your lap a little bit and then you took a jump, but maybe it wasn't quite as big as a jump because it ties directly to your day job, or did you still feel it was a lot more stressful making the leap?
Well, so it was a little bit of a mix. So I've always wanted to own my own business. I remember doing my business plan in college and taking it. I got such a good, like 100% on it because I took it seriously. Like it was my legitimate business plan because I knew that at some point in my life, I would be using parts of it, if not that entire business plan later on as, like a more full grown and matured adult. And so that was kind of how I approached that, even, so many years ago. And that's what it feels like now. Then I've just had one thing after another when it came to work, different things that I was learning. And I always knew that at some point I wanted to start my own business. Like I wanted to have it at some point. And I prayed about it a whole lot. And then when I had a couple of friends who had recently started a new business of their own, and it was like a brick and mortar kind of establishment. And so they asked me if I would be willing to help with that because they liked other work I'd done that they'd seen for other things, whether it was volunteer again or day job. And I was like, yeah, for sure, let's do it. And I was like, okay, well, I want to do it all the right way. I got to go get the right account set up. I got to get my LLC established. I got to get my PO box. And I was like, I want it to go the right way. And so I just, because I was like, who knows how big this could get? And I want to be ready for however big it does get and be totally prepared and set up correctly from the get-go. So that's what I went and I did. And I just, I had one client. I didn't know how long it was going to last, how much money I was going to be making off of it. But I guess my idea was that I will set myself up for success and for growth right out of the gate. And then that grew into more. And it's kind of, shifted to like give and take on the number of clients I have. And right now, working on the census in my day job, I'm really limiting how much work I take on the side business because this is just a lot of brain work and a lot of energy. But so that was kind of like, that's how it happened. Now, I think that when I am ready to start taking back on new clients and everything. That I think is where more of the work and the building starts because I want it to be something where I'm completely relying on that at some point, Like once the student loans are all paid off and you have no debt, then it's like, okay, now I feel comfortable to go at this full throttle.
Yeah, Megan, so about a week ago, we did our last episode, and that's when the COVID-19 stuff hit. And I think I've been doing my side hustle probably a little bit less than you. Murray's been doing it probably the longest. But I was just getting momentum going. So, and I think we talked about this. My side hustle was doing law enforcement training for prosecutors, speaking at conferences. And I had 3 or 4 things that were scheduled that have all been canceled. So as I just picked up my momentum, like everything got canceled. And now I'm starting to think about, like, I don't want to be bummed out that they got canceled, but I'm starting to think about, is there any opportunities Because the world's probably going to be a little bit different when we come back from this. So we're not going to just be able to hit an on button and the economy is going to go back to normal. So I'm looking at getting more involved in like online training and stuff like that. So with what you do, going through all this stuff, what have you thought about, how is this going to affect your business? And have you thought about any other, innovative ways to approach it?
So with my business, I think my clients' their work has slowed down so much that is what is affecting me. So since they're not doing as much because they simply cannot, that I'm not doing as much. Like they want to still stay relevant and present. So there's that piece. So I'm hoping that when they're ready to like swing back into everything full speed, that they're wanting to jump back on that like right away and let everyone know. They're wanting to stay relevant now, but when everything really kicks off, then it does jump back up. So that's my hope. And then for my own business, I think it's also like, again, like being relevant, being present and everything to what's going on. So when it comes to marketing, and this just goes for anyone, when you are trying to build or let people know that you're here and what services you have available, literally your best audience is your personal account. So whether it is law or construction or marketing or whatever it is just, you make a post, hey, I got a new client today. I'm so excited. I'm grateful for the opportunities, whatever it is, what genuinely you're feeling from that. I'm excited to work with them. This is the industry they're in, and it's something I have or have not worked in before, and this is why I'm excited about it, yada, yada, yada. Because then people are like, oh, they're taking on new business. And so it lets them know, like, okay, they are relevant in what they're doing in their side hustle. And then also when things are slow, you want people to remember, okay, like, he still has a business. This is what he's been up to. And that's just one thing about social media. We're talking about having to be engaged digitally. Well, it makes it to where 24/7 you can be, whether you're quarantined or not. And so letting people know that you're doing that. So you guys could post something about, even a podcast, like record a new podcast today. It's our second one we've done since the COVID-19 pandemic was announced, and these are our topics. Go check it out. This is where you can find us. So it's just those things and letting people know the actions and the activities that you're doing, even though it's slowed down. And you can even say that in the post, really things that are easy, you're going right now, and it's a time to relax, recoup, and replan, and kind of maybe even redirect where we're going to be after this pandemic and the quarantine is all over. It is with making those kinds of conscious thoughts out there, placing them in front of people. It just reminds people that you have that. I mean, I can't even say how much business I've had from people where they're like, hey, I mean, even a pool company, like something totally random. I don't post about pools, but they're like, yeah, I saw that you started your own business and it seems to still be going well. So I was wondering if we could get a proposal from you. This is what we're looking at. And we just need a lot of help when it comes to building out our website or like our copy and what we need, like how we should be stating things for our customers. And it's just things like that in your post. And I think that using stories too are a whole different element. So your post is more like your kind of crafted content. And then your stories are kind of your behind the scenes. So it's kind of just a random photo or like little boomerang or video or something of, oh, got this done today, like podcast room is looking hot, something like that. So those are just like your behind the scenes that are kind of almost like more natural, I guess you could say.
Nice.
Yeah. That's all really good stuff.
So now you know why we actually asked you to be on here is because no one's probably going to listen to this, but we wanted to essentially get free consultation from you. So keep it coming. We like it.
Hey, well, I'm like, I'm sure you guys give plenty of free consultation yourselves too, so it all comes back around.
But I like what you're talking about. So for me, I got out of social media like after college because, I'd like to go out in the woods and just be out in the woods and away from people. And I had to get back into social media like a few months ago, trying to do a Facebook and all this stuff. So what kind of advice would you give to people that are starting a business, especially now with everything that's going on? Like, how do you start off and use social media to build your side hustle?
So for me, like my first post, I think the first photo I took that was relevant to my business was actually when I got the letter from the state that was verifying they had received my payment and application and everything for my LLC. And I was like pumped. Actually, your boss took it, Eric. Like I was so excited because I told him what I was going to be doing. And like, I was like, I'm doing this the right way, right? And it was like, yeah, I mean, he's an attorney. So I was like making sure I was doing everything correctly. And so, I was really pumped about that. But my first post was when I got my PO box. I didn't want every client. I mean, I'm pretty open about a lot of stuff and everything, but you don't want everyone coming over to your house all the time, right? Even though you run it out of your own home. So, I wanted a PO box so that they can mail everything to my PO box. And it was just also, being able to put that in my email signature instead of my address was like way nicer and more comforting. So, and when someone's starting out, like, and they want to make their first post, mine personally was, oh my gosh, just got my first just got my official PO box for my business. Like, this is real time, folks. And just being excited about that. So I think as long as of course, you don't want to start anything that you're not excited about. I think that as long as you have your own business, you're just going to be excited because it's your own. So you're pumped about that already anyway. But you want it to be work that 3 years from now, you're still like, oh yeah, I'm so good at this. Like, this was way fun to create this piece or whatever it is. And it gives you something when a client receives it and they're like, that Eric or that Murray, like, was so awesome. Thank you so much. And you, instead of more than just like that you did a favor for someone, but that they appreciate your work to that extent. That is like huge still, 3 years later. So if they're wanting to just like to get started and make that announcement, I would say like just do it. There is no such thing as being perfect with it all. A lot of the times it is just about hitting that button of finish, post, send, whatever it is. You can proofread as much as you want and you'll always see something different or like want to change something or still consider like, is that the best word or should I use a synonym? But just getting it out there and letting people know you're doing that, it'll surprise you to see how many people rally around you and are like, oh my God, like so pumped for you. That is awesome. Congratulations. Wait, are you still at company XYZ? Okay. Yeah. Like that's good to know. So it's really like, it's just a special kind of thing to see people. I mean, you mentioned supporting each other, Marie, at the beginning of the podcast. And that is something huge, I think, when you post something about that and people start giving you that positive feedback, you're like, oh yeah, I can get this.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Eric's mentioned multiple times too, that just getting content out there, it doesn't have to be perfect. I've also mentioned it before, just feel your way to success. I mean, we're all learning as we go. No one has it completely figured out. So just keep pushing forward. So a lot of good points there.
I love that. Like you guys are saying it. Like you two are both doing it and it's not like rocket science. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And everyone tries to act like they do have it figured. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of people try and present that way. That's why we specifically named this podcast the Dumpster Fire Project. Guys, we have no clue. Like, yeah, we're doing a lot of hard work, a lot of research, but there's going to be times where it just goes up in flames and we're going to learn from it and move forward.
Yes. Yeah, we had to watch a YouTube video just to figure out how to do a podcast during a quarantine with 3 people on Skype. That's how bad we are.
Yeah, but we got it. The only one who couldn't figure it out is I couldn't figure out what my name was, apparently. So that was really the complete challenge. But I haven't actually gotten on Skype in seriously like years, and it is the same password that I tried 2 passwords from back then in that period of my life where I was like, okay, it's probably a version of these 2. I got it second try. I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Yeah, Skype, it works out perfect for what we're doing with this podcast because Murray's in Michigan, we're down here in New Mexico, and we played around with a few different things, and this actually works really well for what we're trying to do here. So.
Yeah, and it does.
And Skype's not getting any love. Like Zoom is like going to be like Amazon when this COVID-19 stuff is done. Like everybody is on Zoom now.
So Murray, you're working from home right now, right?
Yeah.
So Eric and I are also, And I am just waiting for Zoom to come out with filters because I really don't feel like putting on makeup when I'm working from home. And I'm like, I want to be bummed out, like, and just chilling. And so I'm just waiting for those filters to come out on Zoom so that I can turn on the video and feel okay without having to throw on mascara or something.
Well, here's the
Nice.
thing though. Little do you know, Murray doesn't need any makeup. He's very
wow.
attractive, very handsome man.
That must be natural beauty. We're gonna have to talk about your whole skincare routine after this, okay?
Yeah. That's another episode. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's another passion of mine.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to reel us in a little bit here because I think you mentioned a couple of really good things. And the first one just being in social media and the digital world. I think that's spot on. And Eric and I, in the last special episode dealing with how we're impacted by the epidemic, we started talking about one of the things I've created on my side hustle is a digital case management for lawyers, so that way they can go in, specifically prosecutors, and I helped develop it for one of the offices Eric was working at, and it was intended to do exactly what's happening now. There's a lot of people out there still under a paper system, which it's quite shocking. I didn't realize how many people do that until I started this side hustle, and I'm not focused just specifically in the legal firms either. So there's a lot of people still out there running with paper, which to me is, in this day and age, it blows my mind because it's a huge risk due to fires or anything exactly like this. So yeah, learning to get into that digital world and social media and use whatever you can. There's pros and cons to both, but when things like this happen or the trends are going this way, and a perfect example is there's a lot of good that comes out of it too. I ran a Facebook ad this morning, side tangent real quick, just because I'm trying to help as many people as possible. I wrote a book a couple of years ago. It's called Tonight It Ends. And I woke up this morning and I wanted to run a Facebook ad because right now I'm giving 100% of the proceeds. There's a couple places around here where you can call and donate money, and the restaurants will just make extra meals for the day. And anyone who calls in and says, hey, I'm really hurting by this, I need a meal, they can just go in and get a meal. So my Facebook ad was to say, hey, reminder, I sold this book, all the proceeds are going to that. So if anyone's interested, yeah, please go out there because I'm trying to help as many people as possible. I'm not trying to make a dime off this. So anyways.
Okay, well, I'm going to buy your book right after this, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much. But as I was running the Facebook ad, they gave me a notice right after I posted it that they're getting so many of those that they're actually backed up. So I know the economy is in a horrible place. I'm not going to deny that at all. But there are certain niches or areas that are actually overwhelmed right now because the focus has shifted so much. And so that's why when we talk about maybe having a couple different side hustles or not all of your eggs in one basket, it's so when things like this, you can be flexible and shift, or even if you're not, maybe now's the time to just start thinking about it. Hey, this might happen again. We all hope it doesn't, but just in business in general, you never know what's going to happen. So to be able to see that out there when I got that notice, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I've been talking about. There are people overwhelmed right now because they have so much work while others don't. And so hopefully if anyone is out there struggling, I'm sure there's areas that are swamped right now. It's a little glimmer of hope that there's something you can go get a temporary job at or find something to help you along the way.
And you know what else about that though is that leans to preparation and how important that really is, no matter what you're coming up against. So having everything going paperless on things and having access to all that good stuff, so that if you need to get it from anywhere, or if the situation we find ourselves in today, or preparing before you make a presentation or give a speech, like preparation is so key that if you do your best to stay prepared, then you'll see benefits from it in ways you didn't even expect, like things you weren't even preparing for, such as this pandemic.
Yeah, and it's almost more about the more you do that, you're building this mindset that you don't even know you have until it happens. Then you can just 100%. React a lot faster.
I love that. Seriously though, the mindset is what is the big part. Like that is the biggest part of it is just setting up setting up your mindset. I don't know if that's maybe like the word where mindset came from, is setting up your mind. Like, I don't know. But so it sounded almost kind of repetitive. But yeah, having that set, it helps so much. I've had times where I was asked, someone else, they bailed on a presentation or something last minute. And I was asked, hey, can you cover this topic for us, whatever it may be? We just had them bail. And I was going just to watch the presentation. And I ended up having to step up and do it and give it. And so I was like, yeah, sure. So I literally like grabbed a bag of giveaways that I had ready in my office, my USB that I downloaded the presentation onto, and walked out. And I was, oh, there go the pups again. There must be like a cat on the walk on the sidewalk or something.
Somebody break it into your house?
No, that's just like them. Like they heard a noise, the wind howled or something. So, just having that set up though, like I had that giveaway bag. I didn't have to be late. Like, although I had to get there early to present and it was totally unplanned, everything was going to be okay. And I also knew my presentation so well that it was just all that preparation. It gave me an opportunity to shine that I didn't think I wasn't preparing for. I wasn't going to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. And so you said a word, and we said we were going to get to this. The word is late. So you were late to this podcast because you were doing an armpit detox. What is that?
Okay, so as much as I am into my career and my work and building like a foundation and being structured and having these things that bring in money, you know what I mean? And make your livelihood. I've also got like a good amount of woo-woo in me. So, but okay, you've all heard about natural detoxes and kind of your more standard natural deodorants, and then your more standard deodorants, right? So tell me what you think of when you hear natural deodorant, both of you. And then, I'm expecting pure honesty from the two of you. So
I think of Tom's, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all natural?
I've used Old Spice since I was about 12. That's all I know.
That's all you know. So, okay, that's definitely not a natural one, Eric. Just
No.
No.
They sell it at Walmart, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, Walmart, they actually do have some pretty good natural products, not going to lie. But it just takes so much research sometimes to make sure that you're getting the right goods. Now, okay, if you hear natural deodorant, so it doesn't really bring any thoughts to mind for you, Eric.
Yeah, the thoughts I have is like some hippies or something.
Okay, so and Murray, you said Tom, so you think of an actual brand, which is great because Tom's is actually a really good natural deodorant.
Of course, Murray knows that.
Well, part of it is I'm a vegetarian. I'm a huge am a huge animal supporter, so I'm always looking on the back and looking for the cruelty-free, the vegan version. So I'm somewhat familiar with a lot of the natural stuff because it plays into that very well. It
does. That's true. Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, I do. I go vegetarian for a week or two once every quarter of the year. And it seriously, it just helps me recenter because sometimes I get to the point where I'm having a steak and asparagus or some other veggie every single night for 4 nights in a row. And then I'm like, okay, it's and it happens to be literally the week before my vegetarian week for that quarter. And I'm like, wow, how timely did that happen? Because I really need it now. I really need my vegetarian food. And so it gets me away from having too much of that good red meat. But so armpit detox. So what armpit detox does, it helps to pull all of the toxins and toxins, right? They're poison and bad things and all of the stuff that's in deodorant. So what I use is bentonite clay. Now, bentonite clay, it is 100. It's literally 10 or $15, depending on the size of jar that you get on Amazon. And I get the Aztec all natural 100% bentonite clay mask. Now, you can do it for hair, face, armpits, any part of your body. You can even use it as an internal detox. And so then when you put it on your armpit, what bentonite clay does is it attracts lots of metals and toxins and brings them to the surface and absorbs all of it. So some people actually don't recommend rinsing it off and letting it go down the drain because it can, because of how it attracts metals and such. And then when you put it on your face or your armpit, like you'll notice your skin might become kind of red, and it's because of the blood circulation. It also gets that all going. Now, I call it my turtle mask because it's green, and when it starts to dry and crack, like it looks like turtle skin, but it is so tight, like in it tight. I mean, every skin concern it assists with. So wrinkles, tightness, toning, acne, literally everything, even eczema. I have eczema. I don't have it like real bad or anything, and it's definitely a lot less than I used to have it, but it helps with everything. And so it draws all of that to the surface in your armpits. And being so close to lymph nodes like your armpits are, and I mean, such a main way that your body actually secretes that nastiness that it's trying to get out of your body already. That's where like the stink comes from and everything, right? So when you're clogging it with the things that are in your Old Spice, Eric, then it's like blocking it. So instead of being able for your body to just release out of those pores, I think it's called coriander, right? You pour pasta into a coriander to drain out the water, right? Is that the word?
Megan, I thought you were this like conservative Republican woman. You sound like the hippies that I used to know in Santa Fe. And also everything you just mentioned, Murray and I used to do as kids when we swam in the Flint River. Like all those red skin, turtle mask, all of it.
Oh my gosh, yes. But there you go, your mud mask. That's what it is.
I don't know if it was mud.
So like, so yeah, you're pulling all that out now. Say like, okay, a coriander, I guess, or a strainer. I don't know. People have all kinds of different names for it. I can't even remember what the dang name of those things is. Like legitimately, maybe this is like the wine talking now, but it's as if you put that for your body to release things, and so it's only getting some out instead of just removing the strainer and letting your body fully release. So now when you switch to natural deodorant, you'll notice like the first week or two, no one told me this, okay? I am one of those people a lot of times, like we talked about the business, I just jump in head first on things, okay? Yes. I have a scar on my nose to prove it, that sometimes I jump in head first in a pool in an area where I fit. So like, hello, senior year of high school. And like I just went into it. I was like, I'm gonna do like detox my armpits. Oh my God, that first week or two, you're like, this is another kind of rank. Like, what is going on? I thought this was supposed to be great. And then I started looking into it. Like, you really should detox your armpits first. Like, hands down, if anyone is wanting to switch to natural deodorant, like, please, Lord, make sure they detox their armpits first. It helps clear that out so much. It's the same concept as a face mask. You want to unclog those pores. And again, like, it's close to an area where your body is, like, supposed to be able to push things out, and you've kept it clogged for years or however long you've been using not natural deodorants. And so, and it's, I mean, all that ammonia and different things that are put into those products. So if you don't, is your body is finally having a way to get that crap out of the pores, and it is pushing it out. So the smell's going to be like worse for a week or two. That's why the detox helps so much. And when you're that first switch, I would say doing your detox like once a week at least. And so the mask, like I said, it'll tug on your skin so much. It's so tight. Like I'll have to like seriously take a picture next time I do it so I can show you guys. It like makes my eyes like start to bulge out. And my lips sometimes, like if I just sit there relaxed as if I would normally, they like will not close because the mask is like pulling my freaking skin apart. And
sounds
like
fantastic.
In a good way.
Everybody's trying this out.
It's not one of those charcoal peel masks, I promise. I've done those before too. I got my dad to do it with me. He's big old like cowboy, like handlebar mustache, and I got him to do a charcoal face mask. So if he can do this stuff, then anyone can, guys. And like it pulls everything out. So switching to natural deodorant, what you'll notice though is like sometimes I ain't gonna lie, okay, like I'm running late, I'm doing my thing. Even when I am on time, I would just rather do other things than have to do every step of getting ready. I might forget to put on deodorant. Literally, like an antiperspirant is different than something that's gonna kick odor, right? So sometimes I forget, and literally though, like it doesn't smell because I've detoxed so much, and also I take care of what I eat and drink anyways. You know, hello wine glass over here. But it makes such a big stinking difference, and I have not like it. You won't even notice. It's so strange. But there are great smelling natural deodorants. My favorites are some tea tree smelling ones, some lavender ones. doTERRA, that is the essential oil company. They sell great ones. Primally Pure, they're an all natural company, and they are most of their products are all natural, and they sell amazing smelling deodorants. So yeah, there's really good stuff out there.
Nice.
Well, you heard it here first, folks, on the Dumpster Fire Project. We don't just talk about starting your side hustle. We'll get those armpits detoxed. So
Well,
do what Megan recommends, or go swimming in the Flint River with Murray and I.
Yeah, you guys, if you're online,
Health is very important.
it is though. It is.
Yeah, and so I mean, first we have to mention we're not getting sponsored by anyone we mentioned. We're just having a conversation, so all good stuff. But yeah, health is. I think you have to do whatever works for you. I see all these things where people get out there like you got to wake up so early and exercise so many times a day. Yeah, but you also can't drive yourself into the ground where you're so tired you can't focus on your side hustle. So everyone just find that perfect balance of health. I know exactly what works for me, and that's awesome. I don't think in a million years we're gonna find somebody else who knows quite as much about armpit detoxing than you. So thanks for bringing that to the table.
Yeah.
I know. I try to stay away from like the chemical names and like biological or scientific like terms of like how things work, because you want people to understand it and be able to relate it to, okay, like a face mask. Okay, I get that. But yeah, like, I mean, so you're totally vegetarian. I really monitor kind of how much meat I'll consume and like do my periodical vegetarian kind of times. And then Eric, you're not vegetarian at all, right?
No, I'm on the Tatum, New Mexico diet. I just eat a lot of red meat and drink a lot of beer.
And I don't eat all the quail, okay?
Yeah, I do quail and I'll do dove once in a while. You got to wrap it in a lot of bacon though, or it doesn't taste that good.
Yeah. So like for me, I mean, I like having a mix of like the kind of, and of course periodical times to recenter and everything, but a mix of the two. And for whether it's iron or protein or all that good stuff. And so all of us have like different ways of how we handle it and like we're feeling good. And I've noticed when I have consumed like a steak every night and like a bunch of chicken, all these things for just every single meal. Like when I first got a grill, it was like out there grilling steaks and everything seriously for like a month. It was ridiculous.
That's it?
Yeah, because then I was like, no, it was the vegetarian week was coming up. So it was that final week. I was like, oh my God, I have eaten steak and chicken and like bratwurst every night and lunchtime for like a week now. Thank God I'm doing like my vegetarian week. There was no problem going into it because I was like, I am ready. Good Lord. I just eat all my plant protein and iron and vitamins A through Z. Like I'm ready for this. It's time.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got my downfalls too. It's not on the meat side, but I'm a sucker for potato chips. I can easily sit down and crush an entire bag without even thinking about it. So I guess we've all got our vices. But the one thing I do like is this whole, whatever brand it might be, but just the smaller companies that started all these health. I mean, they were either side hustles or very small companies just like us. That's what I love about it. Some of them you can pick up and you can read the story on the back and they say how many employees they have. And every time I do that, that just inspires me more like, oh man, like I could easily do this. Like they did it. So there's so many products, if you just look around, that could actually be inspiring to starting a side hustle or a small business.
That is so cool. That's true though. Yeah, like I wasn't even thinking about that. People's stories, that's just another way though that content you put out there in the digital world, that besides the business that you're going to get out of it, the inspiration you're putting out there as well. So your vulnerability out there is serving others so well because it's your story.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
Okay,
right.
so
Like
we're running a little long today, but it's good because Megan has been great and provided a ton of content and value. But before we wrap up, we want to make sure that we give her an opportunity. Megan, where can our listeners find you at? Do you have, is it Instagram, Facebook?
Yes. So my favorite social media of choice really is Instagram, of course, which is so natural for a marketer. So you can find me at Meg Moon Graham, spelled just how it sounds, MEGMOONGRAM, or on Facebook, Megan Mooney, MEGHAN, then Mooney, MOONEY. Both names totally Irish. And then, of course, I'm on the good old LinkedIn. So I am always open to sharing thoughts with people about what is helping them, or on actually receiving info and like feedback about different things, or ways that I can help. So yeah, and collaborations are always awesome, just like the one we're doing here today. Happy to be in the middle of the dumpster fire.
Yes. Thank
You're
you
our
so
first
much
guest.
for joining us. Yeah, good
Hang
job.
on.
Hey,
I
it went
know.
really decent.
I am so honored about that. Like, I am so honored by that. That is awesome. When I kind of got a little nervous. I was like, oh crap, I'm the first. Like, oh God, please don't let me screw this up. And then you guys have me talking about armpit detox. I'm like, okay, here we go. It's downhill now.
that's what this podcast's all about. Well, when I post this, hopefully I'll have this thing posted tomorrow, and I'll put a link to your to the websites and your social media that you just mentioned, because obviously we only got about 10 listeners, so we can't pay anything. So I'll put a link out there for you.
Well, hopefully, like, I can help out, and I'll share this a whole bunch and let y'all know. And when I get your book, Murray, I will totally dive into that and let everyone know my thoughts on it and how much I'm going to enjoy it. I'm an avid reader. So, oh, and of course my website too, moonstrats.com. It's currently going under construction, so all my clients are aware of that. So it's off the grid right now, but once it's back up, moonstrats.com. So now before we do end it, I want to bring up, has Eric ever told you about how my dog and he wore the same Halloween costume a couple years ago, Maria?
No. What was it?
It was Duck Dynasty. So
nice.
Yes, I want an excuse to get my dog into City Hall. And I walk up the stairs, and no joke, what is the main guy's name again, Eric?
Oh man, I used to watch it like crazy, and now I can't think of it. He's like the son. He's the guy's son.
Is it Willie?
Yes, Willie.
Yeah. So we walk up, and he was the Willie missing to our little pair that we had. So they both had on like beards, and there's like the bandanas going and some camo. And so that dog attacked a prairie dog today. So
yeah. Little did Megan know I was just dressing in my normal attire that day. I wasn't trying to wear a costume.
Those were his weekend clothes. So.
I'm actually wearing camo right now, to be honest.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. So, yeah. And then, but there we go. The hunting dog that really lends to my conservative side that Eric was referencing earlier.
That's awesome. Okay, so Megan, thank you so much. You have great energy. Everyone, please reach out to her, use her services. Again, with everything that's going on in the world, support one another, be kind, be patient, be nice. And I'll leave it with Eric and Megan with any final words they have.
Yeah, just everybody stay safe. Megan, can't thank you enough for doing this. Our first ever guest. You're probably going to be a go-to now. We're going to bring you on here all the time.
Well, like I said before, I have plenty talking to do, so
Yes,
it was a
we
pleasure.
know that for sure.
It was awesome to be on with you guys. It was so much fun.
All right.
Yes, same here. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. See ya.
Peace.